The Fimi X8 SE 2020 was recently announced as being available for pre-order. We took a detailed look at the specifications, including the camera settings, and give our recommendations on whether you should buy it or not. Got that coming up next. Hey everyone, Bill from BillTheDroneReviewer, where I make drone and drone related videos. If you're new here, welcome, and consider hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. The other night I hosted Rotor Talk Live, and I was joined by co-hosts Ron Braun, Marcus Crawford, and Lauren Donar. We spent part of the evening discussing the recently announced Fimi X8 SE 2020. We took a deep dive and looked at all the new specifications, and we really spent some time looking at the camera settings and whether or not this is an improvement from the 2018 model. And we also give our recommendations on whether or not you should buy this. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and roll that clip in its entirety. We're going to talk about the Fimi X8 SE 2020. Now, I know Ron and Marcus did a special show, I think it was over the weekend, about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at, and Marcus is holding up his Fimi X8 SE, the 2018 version. So we're going to take a look. Banggood listed a comparison chart, which was fantastic out there. So we're going to take a look at some of these things. And then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about it and see, you know, because one of the big question I've been getting in my video was, is this a drone that we should consider, kind of a thing? You know, are the upgrades worth it? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Let's go ahead and get that up here. All right. Now, this is the first screen that what it does is it's basically comparing again the 2020 version of the aircraft itself against the 2018 version. And the notable things here, almost everything is the same. You're seeing a difference in flight time of 2 minutes. Okay. And the weight is something else that has changed that I noticed on this as well. The 2018 is 790 grams. This is 765. The other thing that I noticed on here too was the satellite positioning systems. It lists GPS plus GLONASS plus BEIDUO. And then on the 2018 version, it's GPS plus GLONASS. I have no idea what this is, this BEIDUO. It could be their version of Lease 2, like it's on the Hubsan. It could be their version of OcuSync. Maybe that's why they have the increased range. We don't know. But this is
a B&D in there. Maybe that could be the BillTheDroneReviewer satellite network.
It could be. It could be.
I think it's the Chinese version of GPS.
Okay.
Is what that is.
All right. We're going to go ahead and look at the next one here. This is a remote controller, and really it's about the same. There's really no differences here at all. I'm going to go ahead. We'll move to the next one here. The gimbal, there was no differences listed. And then we're going to go ahead. This is where we're going to spend some time here, because with the camera system, there seems to be quite a bit of difference here. The lens, the field of view, 80 degrees on the 2020 version, 78.8 degrees on the 2018 version. Does 2 degrees or 1.2 degrees field of vision more make that much of a difference in a camera, gentlemen? What do you think?
You won't even notice it, is my opinion.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, for that, I mean, you know, it looks good, but okay. Well, the aperture listed on the 2020 version is f2.0, and the aperture on the 2018 is f2.2. Again, what do you guys think?
Well, that will make a difference. Any wider aperture. Sorry, it'll let in more light. So that will help. That's a good thing.
Okay. All right. Focal distance 3.54 millimeters. And on the 2018 version, 4.73 millimeters. What do you guys think on that?
I'm confused with this. I think these numbers are kind of, like in my mind, I'm kind of dyslexic, kind of reverse. I guess what they're trying to say in here is this one will have a greater focal distance, even though the number is lower. Which
Yeah,
I kind of
yeah,
have I have trouble getting my head around that concept, but I think that's what they're trying to say, that it'll have better focal distance. You know, that'd be able to focus on a subject at a longer distance than the current one. If that
yeah.
makes sense.
I think you're right on that.
Photographers in the audience.
Now that sensor is a little different. It's 1/2.6, and then the old one was 1/2.3. So
Marcus could talk to this. We did a little. We crunched the numbers on this the other night, so Marcus can talk.
Go
to
for it, Marcus.
Well, Ron and I had we just did a little investigation to it because it was confusing to us, right? We saw a comment where a gentleman said that, hey, that new sensor was going to be smaller, and we're looking at that and go, well, 2.6 is bigger than 2.3, but no, in photographic terms, it is not. That is a fractionally smaller sensor on the 2020 version. We looked it up online, and they talked about it. Now, as Ron said, that doesn't necessarily mean it's worse. A bigger sensor typically is better, right? But it's also the quality of that sensor. So I cannot believe that Fimi would intentionally take a step back. So I have to believe that it probably is a better quality sensor than what they had on the 2018 version. Ron, what's your take?
Well, this is just a total theory what I'm saying here, but even though we're getting a slightly smaller sensor this time, and the smaller the sensor, the less light you would let in, but with the increase in the aperture, with going down a couple ticks there, the f2.0, that will let more light in. So maybe that'll just balance out even. That we'll still be able to capture the same amount of light because we have got a wider aperture lens and a slightly smaller sensor. Again, this is all theory on my part. I don't know if anything I'm saying is going to bear out in actual testing.
Yeah, we're spitballing. No doubt.
Yeah, and that's because these differences aren't large, but there are some differences. Now the shutter speed, it has 32-1/8000 S, and then on the 2018 version, it's 8-1/8000 S. I don't know enough about this. What do you guys know about this?
Well, basically that shutter speed is you can do a longer exposure with that one.
Okay.
On the 2021, just want to get back onto the sensor thing a little bit. Sensor size is not necessarily everything. It all depends on your pixel size that are on the sensor, because the larger the pixel is that's on the sensor, the more sensitive it's going to be for light and better for the, especially for the low light performance. I can surmise, and just like Bill said, kind of spitballing, but I think the only reason you're getting a better picture is through the programming, the firmware that's on there, because realistically that sensor should not perform as well because of the smaller size. Looking at the other specs that they're kind of comparing back and forth, I think realistically they're doing it all in firmware.
That's a good point, because
but before we go on too far, many people out on the internet have already speculated that this is a completely new camera than the other camera. This isn't any type of just like a upgrade to the camera. This is a completely new camera we're going to get on the 2020. That's speculation, but it does make sense that this isn't even the same camera.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, Ron and Lauren, because take a look at the video resolution. There's more options for video resolution on a 2020 than there is on the 2018. And that's always a good thing, because you can adjust it to, if, the environment you're flying in, whether it's, sunny day, cloudy day, whatever you're going to be shooting, you can adjust that resolution to be able to suit your need. And I like it. It gives you a lot of options. And, anytime you have options as far as choosing a resolution is concerned, I think that's pretty great because, and obviously too, you know, if you want to go out there, you know, and also, and I'll talk about this and then I'll get your feedback. The memory card, it'll take now up to a 256 gig on the 2020, whereas on the 2018, it took a 64 gig. So, you know, with all this being said, you know, it's probably a new camera. You know, I would have a tendency to agree with that, guys. And I think Lauren's right too. I think a lot of this is driven by software, not by the camera. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would agree. I know software makes a huge difference. I mean, obviously, we saw that with the original Hubsan Zino, how they improved that with just simply software improvements. So I'd say that's probably true. But I also, I'm thinking, like Ron says, I think it's a completely new camera. They're talking about a different chipset and everything for it. So I don't even think it's the same camera as on the 2018 version. And time will tell.
Okay, and this is just the charger, battery, propeller, other parameters. It's again, it's the same as the other version. This really hasn't changed. But here's the interesting one, and it talks about the features. And one thing this 30-meter optical flow positioning. The latest positioning system utilizes a downside camera to keep the drone stability hovering at up to 30 meters, even without GPS, which is interesting. And it talks about HDR video and photo. I mean, a lot of these are the same, but then you look flight times up to 35 minutes and then the 8-kilometer range. So, you know, with all this being said, and one of the other things that I found, and I think I have it up on the next screen here. Okay, that's the coupon code, which I will post in a link in the video. Okay, I don't have that here. But one of the other things that, and this is the article that I'm giving you guys a sneak peek here. So we're gonna go ahead and stop the screen share. What are your guys' thoughts? Because I had a lot of people asking me, you know, why should I consider this? First of all, okay, if you have a 2018, okay, and I know, and I'll make an exception, with the exception of Marcus here, okay. If you have a 2018, this is probably not a drone for you. Am I right, guys?
I agree with you, Bill. Even though I ordered one,
For testing purposes only.
No, I'm a nerd, right? I'm a drone nerd, and I just wanted one. But you're absolutely correct. For the average person, it's not a big enough improvement to make it worth spending that money. I would think.
Yeah, and now, okay, now what about for someone who doesn't have a Fimi X8 SE right now?
It's a steal right now. It's an absolute steal.
Kind of price, at the kind of price that I just put up there for $347. You know, it's like you better run, and you better run quick. You know, there will be a link in the description, and I'll also make sure that coupon code is down there as well if you're interested in ordering it. I mean, when my money situation finally levels out, because I've been ordering a lot of supplies for the house, that's when I'm going to be, you know, my due diligence with the buy button in securing one of these guys. I mean, you know, it's for what you get for the drone. Okay. It's a exceedingly good value. And I talked a little bit about this last night on ZinoNation, and I hope you guys, if you guys haven't watched replays, watch the replay from last night. It's a great show last night. One of the things that I brought up last night was, you know, how we say, you know, Autel and DJI, the competition is good for each other. Well, I think the competition between Hubsan and Xiaomi is a good thing as well too, because don't think that they don't compete against one another. Okay. You know, Xiaomi puts out some decent products. Okay. I know the A3 wasn't probably one of their better ones as far as a drone concerned. I know Marcus can pontificate about that for a couple of hours, but this X8 is really something that I think is worthy of people noting. You know, I know there were some people that early on there were some issues, and I know Marcus had an issue when he got his, and you know he just about lost his sanity when that happened. But you know, all was well, and you know, overall, it's been a good quality drone. I mean, as far as that's concerned, what are you guys' thoughts?
Let me tell you, Bill. So the Fimi X8 SE, obviously my first experience with it was not a good one, with the propeller disintegrating and a crash. But after that, it was similar to Hubsan in the way, man, they kept pushing the firmware upgrades, and the drone improved, and it got to be that it was one of my go-to drones. And then I sent it off on a little field trip across the nation, and Ron ended up with it for a little while. And I'd be flying it right now, but except I have a stress crack in one of the arms that I need to get fixed up.
I was flying it too wild here in New Jersey.
No, you were just fine. I think that is a problem that is inherent in the Fimi X8 SE. And if you own one, you better be inspecting the arms as you go along. So I bought a new arm for it, and I'm going to get it repaired. And Bill, to your point, what I'm looking forward to doing is having the 2018 version and the 2020 version side by side.
Yeah, that'll be good.
And we can answer a lot of these questions, right? We'll take a look at.
Oh yeah, especially when you the proof will be when you put your 2018 version video on one side and your 2020 version. I mean, there's going to be the proof right there, and we'll see that. And I think the other thing, because I know both Ron and Marcus have mentioned this, it doesn't lose. It's not a question of losing signal as far as the range is concerned, but there is a question a lot of that FPV kind of fades out after so long. And I know Ron found that to be the case when he was flying, when Marcus gave him his to fly. Is that right, Ron?
Well, I mean, it's not that you lose the FPV; it just goes real low resolution, where it's this is probably the mean thing, but it's so low resolution you don't think you're getting good video because it looks like it's real low standard definition video. It's not that it's good; it goes away. It gets real low res quickly.
Yeah, and hopefully that's another thing that we can find out as far as that's concerned. Because from the quality that I've seen, from Ron's videos and from Marcus's videos, they look great from the Fimi X8 SE. So we're going to kind of wrap this segment up, but there will be a link in the description, and there will be a coupon code. It's $347, guys. I mean, it's really a steal. It's something you definitely should take a look at. Question of the day: did you pre-order the Fimi X8 SE 2020? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, stay inside, stay alive.